There are so many reasons why today is the perfect day to welcome our friends from JNF to Anshe Emet. Number one, we always stand with Israel unequivocally on every day of the week. And up on our balcony, as many of you know, there have been photos and names of every one of the hostages since the time that they were stolen from their homes. We go through and have taken down the names of those who've been released when, thank God, that's happened, and we hope that the day will come when more names and photos will come down, and in the meantime, we honor the seats that should be full at our Shabbat tables, in our sanctuaries, and in our homes. And today in particular, Jeff, when you came up and shared why you chose the name Aliyah, in particular for your daughter, as a name that you chose after October 7th, and when Henry shared his love of Israel, his wish to have conversation with Ben-Gurion, we couldn't have a more full commitment in the life of our congregation to what it means to be part of Am Yisrael and to pray for Eretz Yisrael. And the JNF does some of that work day to day. When so many of us wish we knew what we could do, JNF does. They act and they make the world better. They make our country better. They make Israel better. And lots of us grew up thinking about JNF. Asaf will correct us, but lots of us grew up thinking about JNF as only planting trees. It's not so, though that's also good. JNF does so many things to support Israel, its people, and its land in a variety of ways. And here in Chicago, it is Asaf who leads those efforts as the executive director of JNF in Illinois, our friend and our partner every day of the week, who brought to us an incredible opportunity to think about Israel, about the reality of trauma, and about the ways in which we can find healing and hope even in the darkest times. And so today we'll hear first from Asaf about his efforts with JNF here in Illinois, and then from our two brave speakers who are here to inspire us, to help us find a light at the end of the tunnel as they have. We'll be joined by Ava Lang, who works for Red Mountain Therapeutic Riding Center, a JNF USA affiliate and therapy center in Kibbutz Grofit. The center uses equine therapy, horse therapy, and other methods to treat children and adults with special needs. Ava is originally from Holland, and she made Aliyah in 2017. And we're also honored and humbled to have with us Ifat Haimovitz-Twilly today, who is from Kibbutz Re'im, which many of us know was amongst those kibbutzim in the Gaza envelope most directly impacted by kidnapping and murder in a way that Ifat herself was forced to survive. On October 7th, Ifat remained in her safe room for 29 hours with one of her daughters, without food or water. Ifat has always wanted to take riding lessons, but she never had a chance to do so. After October 7th, she arrived at the Red Mountain Therapeutic Riding Center, where she had a chance to ride one of the center's horses, Marioma, and experience therapeutic riding. Ifat now lives in the center of Israel, together with other Kibbutz Re'im families, but hopes to return to Red Mountain soon. So today we hear from the professionals and also from those on the ground about what it is to survive and what it is to heal. And we pray only that there will be more and more people like Ava and like Ifat who heal others and find healing in themselves. We stand with you always. We'll begin with Asaf.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So as you heard, my name is Asaf Bromberg, and I'm the Executive Director of Jewish National Fund USA here in Illinois. And as Rabbi Dror has stated, yes, we are much more than trees and blue boxes, though I have quite a few blue boxes outside for you to take home after. I want to thank you, Rabbi Dror, and to you, the congregation here, for having us with you today. It is truly appreciated. I'm going to speak very briefly to allow Eva and Ifat to speak. I wanted to share with you a little bit of who we are. Our mission is to ensure that the people in the land of Israel have the space to live prosperously, safely and securely. A long time ago, we understood that for that to happen, we need to make sure that more people live on more of the land. And so years ago, we started helping people, giving them the opportunities, the resources they needed to move up north to the Galilee and to the south, to the Negev, and to the Arava, and to the Gaza envelope. And unfortunately, many of our friends and colleagues have been impacted by October 7th. But that only made us more resolute and resilient, knowing that our mission needs to continue. And so we are on a mission now to rebuild and make sure that people have what they need, the resources they need to go back to their homes. And once again, be back in the land of Israel, all the land of Israel. We appreciate Eva and Ifat for being here today, and I appreciate many of our affiliates in Israel who are on the ground every day, just like Eva and many others, who work with the people of Israel, help with the healing, with the building, the rebuilding. And we know that our mission is concluded when all of us are back again at our homes in the Negev and the Galilee, again, and the whole of the land of Israel. So I appreciate all of you here today, and I want to invite Eva and Ifat to share some of their stories. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Let me start by congratulating Henry with his bar mitzvah. It was really nice to see you up here in the bima, so congratulations. I'm Eva. Like they said, I'm originally from the Netherlands. I made Aliyah. I live in Eilat, and I started to work for Red Mountain Therapeutic Riding Center about 3 years ago. And what we do is we give therapy to children and adults with special needs and disabilities through equine therapy. We were founded in 1996, and we're situated all the way down south in Kibbutz Krofit, which is about 30 miles from the city of Eilat. So we're very close to the border with Jordan and the border with Egypt. We were founded back then because our two founders, Rafi and Ellen, noticed that in the city of Eilat and all the surrounding kibbutzim, there was nowhere for children and adults with special needs to go and get therapy. In a 200-mile radius, there was just no other place to get therapy. So children with disabilities like CP, like autism, children with ADHD, ADD, all kinds of special needs just didn't have a place to go to get therapy. So they founded Red Mountain, and it's called Red Mountain because we're very close to the border with Jordan, where there are big mountains, and when the sun goes down, they turn red. I usually get this question, why are you called Red Mountain? So I thought to explain it to you. So we were founded over 20 years ago. We started out with around 6 horses and 10 patients. And these days we have over 200 patients a week. And we have 33 horses. Some are very young, some are very old. We have horses that are 30 years old already. They're pensioned at our ranch. And at the moment we have 5 therapists and some staff members. And we give therapy sessions now as well to people from the Gaza envelope and from the border of Lebanon. On normal days, we have school children come to us. They come from different schools in our area, a special needs school in Eilat called Orim, and also some schools that take care of teenagers who are expected to drop out of school or who come from difficult families in Eilat. And last year, we decided to do a special program, and we mixed these 2 groups. So the older children were taking care of the smaller children who started riding with us when they were like 5 years old, until teenagers, and the other group coming from this special needs school were older. They were about 16, 17, 18 years old. And at the end of their program, they also celebrated their graduation at our place. There were about 20 children with their teachers, and they came and they rode the horses, and that was the end of their school program. Like I said, this year we also had quite some people coming from the Gaza envelope and the border. We had around 20 people coming per day as evacuees. They moved to our region, Elat, and you have to imagine these people come from kibbutzim, and they usually have really large places where they live, they work in agriculture, and suddenly they're evicted to Elat and they live in a hotel. These hotels have very small rooms, and they're very happy when they can go out of the hotel and do something. Most of them suffer from PTSD, so they don't want to be in Elat, be around places where it's very crowded, and they usually stay in the hotel. So they're very happy when they come to our ranch, where it's really green, where there are a lot of flowers. Unfortunately, because it's about, I'm not able to show you any pictures, but if you go to our website, you can see what a beautiful place it is. We put a lot of effort in planting trees, fruit trees. We have a little small area where children can plant crops. And we also have birds where a lot of children love to sit and look at the birds. We have a cockatoo, we have a parrot, which can talk. And we have a lot of different species, and they all have a lot of colors. So usually the children love to sit there, look at the birds, and also help with the horses. When we have the schools coming to us, the children do little chores on our ranch. They also help with taking care of the horses. And it's just a beautiful place to be. I always call it a little oasis in the desert. There's nothing around, it's only mountains with sand. So now I would love to invite Ifat to come to us, and I'll tell you the things that we are fundraising for at the moment. Of course, we're fundraising for more evacuees to be able to ride with us. Through the support of JNF USA, we're able to give these sessions for free, so the evacuees don't have to pay us to have therapy. And we also fundraise to have more therapists, because at the moment we have a waiting list of about 3 to 6 months to begin therapy sessions. And we give scholarships to children who come to us through the school, so their families don't have to pay us. Thank you so much for having us today, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom kulam. Thank you for having us here. There's a lot of people. I'm a little bit embarrassed, and also want to apologize from advance that my English is not so good, because I'm not using it so much home. So I'm Ifat. I'm 53 years old. I'm a mother of 3 quite adult girls. My older daughter, she's Ariel. She's in Bucharest, about to finish her studies. I have another girl, she's 26, she's living, she just moved from Kibbutz Reim to Tel Aviv in the beginning of October. And there's my youngest daughter, Dor, who lives with me and was with me the whole time. So I'm living in Kibbutz Reim, which is in Eshkol Council, and something between 2 to 3 miles from the Gaza border. In my eye, it's one of the most beautiful places in Tel Aviv. That's why I chose to live there, in spite of everything that's happening in there. Lately I stole a sentence that said that being there, it's like 95% heaven and 5% hell, and that's because of all the occasions, wars, and the missiles attack that we are under in the last 20 years or so. We had Oferet Yitzukah, Tzuk Eitan, Amud Anan. Sometimes they're just nagging us with missiles here and there, but overall it's quite routine. We can call it routine.
A little louder.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So nothing really, nothing really prepared us to what we are about to have in 7th of October. That day, Saturday morning, we were in the house when suddenly very loud noises start to appear. And because there was a Nova party for young people who wanted to dance and laugh, it took place in our, just across our road from my kibbutz. We thought it was noises from the party because I remember it because in Thursday night there was very loud noises, which made me really mad because I couldn't sleep. So in Saturday morning when it was quite loud, I thought it could have been part of the noises that came from just across the road. But then my daughter came to my room and told me, "Mom, it's a missiles attack." And I said, "No, it cannot be." She said, "Mom, please, let's go to the shelter room." So we both fetched the mobile phone and we got into the room. We closed the door. And we thought it was like every day that it happened, we're going to be in the room for a few minutes. We're going to hear the boom. We're going to open the doors and continue with our lives. Like I said, it was a routine. But when we were in the shelter room, we opened the TV, and then I saw this white truck with terrorists were like our soldiers with uniforms and moving around in Sderot with weapons like it was in the middle of Dizengoff Center in Tel Aviv. I realized that it's not going to be the case this time, and we probably going to stay a bit longer in this room. So in my kibbutz, there is a WhatsApp group that most of the people are in, and I was not in there because I don't like those groups that talking too much to each other, and then you find yourself watching a conversation between two people who forget that they're in the group. And so I just left this group, and I was not aware of what's going around all over our kibbutz and in the area. But I started to get messages from my mom and my sister and of course, my daughter that lives in Bucharest now. Probably the media going out from Israel much faster than it goes in Israel. She called me, she was really panicking, she was screaming, "Mom, what is it? I cannot stand it, I'm coming home." She was really in panic, and I was trying to make her calm and tell Ariel everything is okay. We are in the shelter room, nothing will happen. I was also trying to convince myself. It worked for a little bit, but not the rest of the hour. I got messages from my mom, just be quiet, we are thinking about it, let's pray that everything's gonna be okay. And actually, all those messages started to sound like goodbye messages, which was a little bit scary. Time was running, we were with the TV open, door closed, air condition closed, because we started to hear shooting outside. I didn't know if it was close, if it was far away. We didn't know nothing because we were just getting messages from my own family, who was probably also a little bit in panic. And then in something like 9:30 in the morning, I got a message from one of my best friends. She lives in the center of Israel, in Gedera. She said, "Ifat, what is going on in the kibbutz? Guy is there." Guy is her younger son out of 3. And I said, "I don't know what's going on because I'm closing the shelter room." And the next day, she got a message from me that I'm sorry for her loss. Her son was murdered in the kibbutz that morning. There were a lot of people from the Nova Party who was invited from our young people to come in the kibbutz because they thought they will help them to save their lives by taking them inside the rooms, the shelter rooms in our kibbutz, but they also brought many, many terrorists to follow. So there was a lot of hours we were in the shelter room, and in something like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the batteries went off, and we were not able to communicate with no one. So a few seconds before the battery went off in my daughter's phone, I asked her to send messages to my mom and our small WhatsApp group. Me and my daughters have one, and her father, and tell them that we are going to be out of communication because of the batteries went off, and that we are going to stay inside the shelter room until I don't know when. We didn't actually know until when, because usually it's like 10 minutes and we go out. So the phone went out of order, and we just stay in the shelter room. Time was running, another hour and another hour. TV was on all the time. And then in something like, in 8 o'clock in the news, there was a big flashed light that Re'im was clear from terrorists, and everything is okay. I told Dor that we're going to stay at least another half an hour. I didn't want to leave the room. And then I got knocked on my iron window from one of my neighbors. I could recognize his accent because he was Argentinian, so I was not afraid to open the window. He said, "Ifat, what's going on with you? Everybody asking about you." I said, "No, Reuven, we're okay, but we don't have batteries, so we cannot talk with no one." He said, "Okay, now everything is okay. You can go out and get the batteries." We opened the door. It was not really a door because I couldn't lock it, so I just grabbed a closet with my clothes and put it against the door, thinking that if terrorists will decide to come into my house, the closet will stop them. So we moved the closet back. We went out, me and Dor. We got the wire to the battery to the phone, and we went back inside the room, closed the door. Then we realized that probably one of the shots hit the boiler and all the water was in the house, but it didn't matter. We just got the wires and we got back to the room. And every time there was this alarm in the area, Tzeva Adom, we just hugged each other in bed and prayed that everything gonna be okay. The time was running, and it was the day after, like 24 hours, and another hour. In 11 o'clock, I got another knock on my window. It was another neighbor. They asked us to pack some things. Then we're going to be evacuated from home to Eilat. So I asked them to come in. I was really panicked that someone else is in my house. It's only in my head, of course. I went from the shelter room. I let them come in, and we packed some stuff, me and Dor, in bags, and we went to sit and wait in my neighbor house, which was like 10 or 12 meters from me. It's very close. Kibbutz, it's a very small place, so you can just move from another place, place to another. So we got our bags and we went to sit with our neighbors until we get the okay that we can leave the kibbutz in buses. And when I was sitting there, even though I missed all the WhatsApp group that went around the kibbutz the whole hours, I got the whole story in once. By sitting there, there was 8 people and kids were murdered in my community that night. And And 80-year-old woman was shot in my kibbutz. There was few people. I can see that there is kids. I'm not going to talk about it so much, but some people lost their life that night. That day, it was day. It was not night. And we got the permission. I got into a car. The driver told me, if you put your head down, you're not going to move, you're not going to look right and left. And then we went out of the kibbutz. I did not have the permission to look around from the window to see what's going on outside. And then we were in Eilat, in a hotel. All of our community were removed from house to hotel in Eilat. And we were like walking there like numbs, like zombies. We didn't understand what was happened. This whole thing was crazy. You know, after 30 hours inside a shelter room with no food, water, or facilities, we arrived to Eilat. In the first few days, we were like zombies who did not understand what's going on. And a week later, people convinced me, because there's a lot of friends of mine that telling me that I'm post-traumatic in deny. So they convinced me to have one conversation with a psychologist, which I did. And we were talking, and I don't like these things. I don't like the blah, 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 blah. But in the end of this blah, blah, she asked me, what did you think the whole time? And I didn't think about it. And when she asked me that, I not only thought about it, I had to say it loud. And what I thought about the whole time actually was that if someone managed to come in my house, please kill me first. These thoughts are not okay to think when you're ever, and even worse, you're not supposed to think this thought when you're in your own house. But that was it. And since this minute, I just couldn't take this out of my head. There's a lot of what ifs in this in this 30 hours. What if I would be outside? Usually walk every morning around the fence in my kibbutz. It's just, I was late in 5 minutes to go out. What if I was outside? My daughter, she moved from Kibbutz Reim to Tel Aviv to try her way in the big city. In the beginning of October, there were terrorists in her apartment in the young people neighborhood that night. So what if she was there? And what if someone would come to my house and see me and my little daughter? So with this thought, we were in Eilat. And after 1 week, I decided I cannot just do nothing. There was a young lady who came to volunteer from Eilat to take care of us, to ask us if we need things, to help us, to get diapers to the babies. And because I'm a mother to quite grown-up girls, I decided I will stop doing nothing and I will go with her. So I was with her, helping her to take care of another kids from another kibbutzim, and then after a while she asked me, Fat, okay, you're doing this for other people. Is there anything you want to do for yourself? And I said, yes, I want to ride horses, because I was intent to do it before. I was talking to some farms who would not accept me if I'm not going to do like 20 sessions. It was quite expensive. I was talking to one farm who was willing to accept me, and we said that after Simchat Torah we will talk and schedule, but Simchat Torah unfortunately was never happened for us. So when I got to Eilat and she asked me, what do you want to do? I just said I want to ride horses. So she introduced me to this young lady here with me. And I got number of the CEO, and I called him and I said, hello, Rafi, my name is Ifat. I'm 53 years old. I'm from Kibbutz Reim, I want to ride horses. And he said, ride ahead, come on. And 2 days later, I was on the back of Mariuma. And I just want to say that for me, it was like life-saving, because when you're walking zombie with all this thought in your heads all the time, and I'm probably not the only one, there's probably a lot of people in Israel now that moving around like zombies and numbs with really bad thoughts, thinking about what ifs. So when I sat on the back of a horse, you cannot think about anything else than right here and right now and what you're going to do now, otherwise you will fall. So you cannot think about nothing. It's clear your mind. You move yourself. You're thinking good thoughts. You concentrate in now. And for me, it saves my mental health. I was there until we had to move from Eilat and go to Tel Aviv, which is another, I think, stupid thing to do, because we are a country people and they moved us to Tel Aviv to 2 towels. I was in the farm twice a week, just breathing. And when people talk about people and kids with special needs, for me, it's not only that you can see a person and realize that they have special needs, because if someone walk in front of me in the street, you can never guess that I'm also a person with special needs. And what the riding center is doing is bless. So if there is something I could do to make this keep going, I would do it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.